Okay, so the first thing to do is to rename them, but before they do that, let me just show you a little dialog at the bottom here, a little slider that I can slide to change the size. There's lots of things we can do here, but right now I want to make them quite small so I can see most of my files, because I need to do a batch selection. So here it's very small. Let's just bring it up to the size where it's where I can see all of the photographs on the page. Okay, there they are. Now if I'm pressing Apple and A here, or I could also select them in a different way, that has selected all of my files. Now what I want to do is to do a batch rename, and to do that I go up to Tools and Batch Rename. Now here there's lots of different ways of renaming, but what I suggest is that you start with your initials or something that is a reminder. And what we're going to do now is give every picture a unique name. And the great thing about Bridge is it remembers the last name you gave it, and so when you go to do this next time, it will automatically start where it finished last time. So for example, if you had 10 pictures in your first batch rename, it will name them, in my case, DJC012010, and then when I go to the next batch rename, when I'm doing my next project, it will start at DJC11. Okay, this is how we set it up. So first I need to put my initials in, so in this case it's DJC here, and I also want to take that out, and then I'm going to decide how many digits. Well, I can choose up to 6 digits, and I would say choose 6 digits because you never know what it's going to look like. And down below here you can see how it's going to come out. Now actually these shouldn't be mine, these are Thomas's, so I'm going to put TC here. So originally it had my name, my initials on it, and now I'm going to change them to TC. Now you can see all of those zeros before that, but that means I can take millions of photographs, and as I take them, so it's slowly going to fill that up, and then every photograph I take from now on is going to have a unique number. Now there's other ways that you can do it as well. You could, if I press the plus key here, we could do it by text, we could create it by a date and time, put it into a special folder. People have different ways of doing it, but I suggest just using your initials and a sequence number, and then put that sequence up as much as you can. Okay, so I'm going to rename those, and that's now going to go through. Now, once that is done, it's just gone through that, and it's doing it now. You can see as I come up, you can see all of these images now are named TC rather than with my name. Okay, and now over here what I'm going to do is to start adding some metadata. Now you can see on the metadata column here that I have put these arrows. Now there's lots of different types of metadata, but I'm really concerned right now with IPTC. And here I can write my Thomas's name, sorry, not my name, Kumbana, and also I can put his address in, I can put all sorts of things as I come down, and quite importantly I'm going to put a headline for this. So this is shooter project shoot, and a description. So I'm putting, this is my caption, taken by Thomas Maputo for the shooter demonstration. Okay, and I would normally put after that a date and a time, the date that it was taken. So I think these were taken in January 2011, and the place, Maputo, Mozambique. Okay, and then again further down here I have a chance to do, and you can choose which you like, what you want to put in. I can put the city in, I can put the state, I can put the country. Now the more of this that you fill out, the better it is going to be for those images, because images can't be seen by databases. So as soon as I place these online, they're going to become invisible unless I have text attached to them. So the databases, things like Google and other search engines, are going to be reading the text that is attached to the images, not the images themselves. So it's really important that we have this all filled out. And I can do it for all of the images like I'm doing here, and I just press the tick button here, and that's going to apply that metadata to all of those images that I have in my catalogue here. But I may also want to go back and do some individual things. So I may want to go back, and it seems like there was an error on one of them there. I may want to come back here and then add some additional metadata, maybe in the description, so I can be more clear. Maybe a sentence before it saying maybe two boys play on a jetty near the beach. Near the beach. Okay, so that's added a little bit of extra metadata to each one. Now, as I said, the more that you can put in this, made a mistake, the more metadata that you can add here, the better it's going to be, and the easier they're going to be able to be found. and also the better chance of selling them. Also, once you've done this and it's in your database, it means that you can very quickly search yourself to find them, and you can send them to clients and you just tell them, okay, the caption's enclosed in the metadata, so you don't have to write separate captions to go with the images. They're all there, embedded into the image, and also it means that people won't be able to steal your pictures as easily now this is in. Okay, so we've done the metadata, and you may want to, if you're going to do repeated things, you may want to, oops, sorry, let me just apply that one. I forgot to add that extra bit. You may want to save the metadata as a template, and you can do that here by creating a metadata template. And that means you don't have to type in, for example, if you're always shooting in the same city, you may create a Maputo template, which would have your name and the place that it's taken and some of the key copyright information. And then you just have to then add to that a description and headline, and maybe some keywords. Keywords come in here as well, also very important for getting your pictures found. Okay, so once we now have them metadated, we have metadata for them and we have new names, what I'm going to do here is go through a process of making selections. Now there's lots of different ways you can do that. If you go up to view up here, we can have slideshows, we can have a review mode, which I'll just quickly show you, which goes through the images one by one in this particular format. You're not seeing all of the screen there. Or I can just press the space bar and it will come up full screen and I can flick through them, and again you're not seeing it full screen. You're not seeing all of the screen because my screen recorder is only recording part of my screen here. So just to make things easier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just enlarge by sliding on this slider at the bottom, so we've just got one image. And now what I want to do is to make a selection. Now to make selections, there's different ways of doing it. You could use a star system by either clicking on these buttons at the bottom, 1, 2, and up to 5 stars. Let me just take that out. Or you can use a label, and I like to use a label because a label gives it a colour and it can differentiate between my video, my audio and my pictures. So for my pictures I'm going to use the red label, which in this case is Apple or Control 6. And that puts a red label on it, shows me I want it. Now I'm going to just use the sidebar. Sorry, I'm going to use the arrow bar, arrowing right to go through my images. So this is another one I want. So again, I'm going Apple 6 to get my red, and then I'm looking at these. And I'm going to choose the one that I want most. So go through these. I really like that one. So Apple 6. And as you can see, as I'm starting to go through these, I'm starting to choose which ones I want. So where are we? That's perfect. Apple 6. And I keep going through. As you can see, I'm slowly but surely picking out the pictures that I like best. Apple 6 again. Okay, I'm going to slide back over, and now we can see that we've made some selections. Now I haven't been through all of them, but the next thing to do for me is then to sort the images by label. Now up here on the right hand side you can see sort by file name, but I want to sort them by label, and that way it's going to put all of my selections all together at the bottom of the grid here. So there they're all sorted, and so in the next lesson we're going to now open those up in Photoshop and do some very simple editing.